That's it. Now let's hope the door closes and locks. Well, that looks good, doesn't it?
No battery left, stuck running on low, no beat in my chest.
Something we've been wanting to do for quite a while now is to update our RV door locks. We started doing some research online and really found out there's a few companies out there that make the digital RV door locks. One in particular caught our eye, and it's called Carmtek. I just like the look of the lock, the way it showed up online. We did contact Carmtek and told them we'd like to do a review on their product, and they were kind enough to send us a couple door locks. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to unpackage this door lock. I haven't opened this up yet. I don't even know what's inside of it yet, but we will unpackage it. We're going to go through the installation of the door lock and also how to program the keypad and the fobs. So let's go ahead and we'll get started. We're going to go ahead and unpackage this for the very first time and just see what's in here. Right at the bat, this is pretty heavy, so usually heavy means quality, but we will see. So you're probably not going to be able to see everything as good as I can see it, but right on top we have, I believe these are called the striker plates. There's going to be one for the door jamb and one for the frame itself, and it's like there's a couple screws in here for those. We do have a user manual, and we'll be going through this in a minute. And it looks like probably a registration pamphlet. You always want to make sure you register your products. It looks like it's also like a gasket material. Now I'm assuming what this is going to be for is, in our case, like we have our RV is painted, so when I pull off the old RV lock, if there's a place in there that maybe the paint is not showing or underneath where they didn't paint, I'm assuming this would be used for expanding around the new door lock to cover up any imperfections or places where the RV wasn't painted, but we'll check that out in a little bit. We also have, looks like just a sticker. I guess these stickers or the numbers, I'm assuming will probably wear out over time. So with the sun, I'm making that assumption. So they do give you a spare one of these. 4 AA batteries. And now we got the door lock, the granddaddy here. So let's see if we can get this out of here. All right. This thing's heavy. This is pretty heavy. I do know doing our research, this thing's completely made out of metal. That's why it is very heavy, and it definitely feels pretty secure. So let's get rid of this box, and we'll go ahead and open this up and take a look at what's included with the lock. This is how the lock comes out of the package. We have a couple manual keys, or just a couple keys. I'm assuming these are probably going to be for backups if by chance your lock does not work, or maybe a battery dies or something like that, or some kind of malfunction. You'll always have a way to get into your RV. These 2 boxes here, we'll have to open these up, and I'm assuming these are probably the key fobs. And here's the lock itself. I really like the look of this. Again, it's 1 through 8 digits, so there's multiple combinations you can do with that. And it just feels good. It's nice and sturdy. The back of the lock is pretty much typical of any RV lock with the latch. This would be where you'd put your batteries in, and there's some on-off switches. It looks like some reset switches over here as well. So this is the lock. Let's see what the key fobs look like. We have 2 of these. Oh wow, yeah, these look pretty nice. So I'll show you one of the key fobs, if I can get it open here. Yeah, hopefully you can see that. So basically there's 2 sets. There's a You can see the lighter colors, a lock and unlock, and then also there's on this side over here, there's a lock and unlock. So what can happen, you can have, like in our case, we're going to have a lock on the back door and also a lock on the front door. We can program these fobs to have one fob to use both locks. So I could program these two white ones here, lock and unlock, let's say for the front door, and then these little orange ones here for the back door. So that way there you have one fob that controls both of your locks. So that's pretty nice. Overall, again, this is the first time I've opened this package up. Everything to me looks like quality. It's packaged really nice and neat. Looks like they did take some pride in the way they put things together. So I think our next step is we're going to take what we have here. We're going to go outside. We need to remove our old lock and we'll start to insert our new lock. Now, one word of caution, just to be aware of, and I know they do mention this online, and I've seen this in other places as well. For a lock like this, the hole, the opening in your door must be 3 3/4 inches long, 2 3/4 inches wide, and 1.5 inches deep front to rear. Before I got this lock, I did go ahead and pull my old lock off just to check my dimensions. The length, I was short. The 3 3/4 I was short is like 3 and just over a half, maybe 9/16 or 5/8. So I did have to cut the bottom edge of my door to make my hole just a little bit longer, but that is something you have to be aware of. If you're too nervous to cut into your door and the hole's too small, you're probably not going to be able to use this lock. When they say that they need 3 3/4 inches length and 2 3/4 wide, they mean it. There's no give or take there. So just be aware of that. I don't want you to order a lock, find out the hole's too small, and have to return it. So just make sure you do your measurements first. So let's go outside and we will get this thing installed. The first thing we have to do to install our new lock is we're going to take our old lock off. As you can see, this is the back side of the door. There's 4 screws here. We're going to take these 4 screws out, and there's also 2 more screws right here on the striker plate. So let's go ahead and remove the back part of this. Okay, now this plate should come right off. I'm going to lay that down. Now hopefully you can see this, but the striker plate has 2 screws in it here. This is the only thing holding this in right now. So we're going to go ahead and remove this plate. Okay, that is it. You can see how quick and easy it is to take this out. And we're just going to slide this out and pull it out from the front. And lay this down. Now, I mentioned this once before, but this is extremely important. This has to be 3 3/4 inches long, 2 3/4 inches wide, and 1.5 inches deep. So we're all set. We have the old lock out. We got our hole is the correct diameter, and we're ready to put our new lock in. Now I am going to use this little gasket because I already tried to put this lock in once, and we're getting some of the area up front here where the paint wasn't showing, or underneath the paint, so that's why I put this gasket on. But now we're going to go ahead and try to slide this lock in. Just be careful. You want to make sure you put the wires in first. Okay, so we're going to make sure our wires come in. Get those in there. I'm going to push this lock, get as close as we can. Okay. Now we have the new striker plate. We just need to attach this in here, screw it in. Okay, so that's just in there loose, so now it can't go anywhere. And we'll snug these down. Not going to go all the way quite yet, but we will snug them down. So I have my wires connected. We're going to try to put our back plate on. A couple things to be aware of is we want to try to keep these wires out of the way of the latch down here. And we also want to make sure this latch falls in front here. So we're going to try to get all this at one time. We'll see what happens.
Okay, so one trick I did find out, you really want, what was happening with me earlier was when I was just trying to hold this in place, I wanted to check my handle to make sure it would work before I went ahead and tightened everything down. I think what was happening was because this was still loose, when I pulled this handle, the little latch behind got pushed behind this latch. So it kind of got jammed. So I think the secret to this is get these 3 screws in first. Get them kind of snug so at least the front plate and the back plate are firm together before you try this handle. So now it can't go anywhere. So now these are good. I checked the deadbolt, I checked this latch. Now I can go ahead and finish up this last screw. We're not gonna go super tight on these, but I will make them snug. And we'll go back, because remember we kept these kind of loose, so we'll make sure these are snug as well. There's our deadbolt, and there's our latch. Feels very good. One last thing to do, we have the new striker plate for the door jamb, and we'll put that on now. All right, that was it. Next thing we have to do is test out our key fobs. We're gonna lock it. You can see this lock just got moved over. Unlock it. That's it. Now let's hope the door closes and locks. Well, that looks good, doesn't it?
It does look good.
Okay, so one last test. We're gonna lock it. Nothing. Now we will unlock it.
Nice.
Really nice. Again, there's one more way of locking it. You can just hold the lock button down for a few seconds. And now this is locked. Okay. We can unlock it. I think I left this at 1, 2, 3, 4. Unlock. And that's it. That was it. It's a pretty easy install. A couple things to be aware of. The hole or the hole in the door has to be 3 3/4 inches long by 2 3/4 inches wide and 1.5 inches deep. That's a given. It has to be. There's no wiggle room with that. The other thing that kind of caught me off guard, I had to try this a couple times, was I wanted to hold the backing plate up tight to the front plate. I wanted to make sure my latches were working correctly before I completely tightened down the screws in there. And I think what I was doing, I wasn't holding it tight enough, so when I would use my latch, it would get behind the latch itself and kind of get messed up. So the way I ended up doing it was I put the 3 screws in, the 2 top screws in first and the one on the bottom right, and got those fairly snug, and then I tried my latches and everything was fine, and then after that I could go ahead and put the 4th screw in. So that's it. I'm happy with it. I think it looks pretty good. Once we use these locks for a couple of months, we will update the description in the video to let you know if we find anything wrong with them, something we do like about them, something we don't like about them. As always, you will always get our honest opinion. Right now, I think they look pretty sharp. I'm gonna jump over to the front and get the front lock done hopefully tonight, and we're gonna be good to go. As you can see, I did manage to get our 2nd lock installed today, and I've already programmed my key fob. So the white ones I use for the rear door, and the orange ones I can use for the front door. So I have 1 key fob to manage both locks. I also set up both locks with the same combination, so I only have to worry about 1 combination. So that's pretty nice. The other thing, these key fobs are supposed to be good up to 80 feet. So that's kind of a nice feature as well. Now, something really important that you don't want to forget, I mentioned this already, but these locks do come with these manual keys. These are for really emergencies only. You always want to keep 1 key somewhere outside of your RV, whether you hide it, keep it in your tow vehicle, keep it with your truck keys, whatever you do, at least keep 1 outside. You don't know if maybe a battery might die or go bad, your RV could get struck by lightning. Anything to cause the RV lock not to work, you're always going to want a way to get into your RV in case of an emergency. If you do find stuff like this helpful or interesting, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button as well. It really helps us out also. Now, if you are interested in locks like this, you can go to Amazon. I looked today. They're anywhere from about $190 up to $250, depending on if there's a sale going on or not. The other thing you can do is go to the carmex.com website. They do have other products if you're interested as well. Now let's go inside. I'm going to show you how to program the keypad and how to use it.
I want to show you now some of the functionality of this lock, and specifically while we're here is the keypad. There's three things that we're going to go over today. One is changing the default combination to your new lock. We want to make that something different that nobody knows about. We can also change the volume level, either make it mute, low, or high, and this is when you're pressing a button. We can change that level as well. And also how to pair up a key fob. Now these key fobs, they do come paired with your lock when you receive it. However, if you ever had to reset your lock for any particular reason, you would also have to re-pair up your key fob. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and change our combination. These locks do come pre-programmed with a combination of 1, 2, 3, 4. So we don't want to keep that. In this example, we're just going to do 8, 7, 6, 5. Okay, that's what we're going to do for a combination. The steps to this is we're going to press the number 8, hold that down until we hear a confirmation beep. We will enter in the current code of 1, 2, 3, 4, hit the lock icon, enter in our new code twice. We're going to enter it in 8765, hit the lock icon, do that again, 8765 to confirm it, and hit the lock icon again. At that point, our new code should be programmed into the lock. So let's go ahead and give that a try. We heard the tone, so we're going to do the 1, 2, 3, 4 lock. The new code, 8765 lock. And let's confirm it, 8765 lock. And we got that long tone. So at this point, our lock should be programmed now with our new combination of 8765. So let's go ahead and we'll give that a try. I'm going to type in 8765 and unlock. 8765 lock. Hopefully you heard that and you saw the deadbolt, and we will unlock it. 8765 unlock. And you can hear that. So that worked. It's as simple as that. Now something to be aware of, when you start this process, as soon as you hit that number 8 and you get that tone, you got to kind of go through those steps one right after another. This will time out after about 5 seconds. So you want to keep the process going, know what your combination is going to be, and kind of go through each step one right after another. Something else that I can show you is there is normally when you would lock your RV or unlock it, you would enter in your code and hit lock, or enter in your code and hit unlock. There is a shortcut for that. You can just hold down the lock icon. Let me unlock this first. 8765 unlock. And then if you want, you could just hold this lock button down for a couple seconds. So that's just it's just a shortcut way of locking if you wanted to do that. I mentioned earlier there's some volume settings to this as well. There's a mute, a low, and a high. And you get to that or change that by holding down the 1 digit. And that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to hold down the 1 digit. I tried this earlier before the video. I don't quite like, there's really not like a confirmation tone. Like when you go to mute, it just doesn't make any tone at all. So it took me a couple of times to realize what was going on. But all you do is hold down the 1 digit for a couple seconds. You will hear a tone. It's either going to be a low tone, a high tone, or if you happen to go into the mute mode, you're not going to hear any tone at all. And that's where I got a little bit confused. But I'm going to hold down the 1 key. Hopefully you heard that. That was pretty loud. So now when we hit the buttons, we're going to have a pretty loud tone. I am going to hold down the 1 key again. Now you'll see there's no tone at all, and this is where I got confused when I did this the first time. We are in the mute mode, so now when we hit the numbers, we're not going to make any sound at all. I am going to hit the 1 key again and go to a low tone. And hopefully you heard that. So now we have a low tone. So If you don't want people to hear when you're punching in, you can put it on mute or a low tone or a high tone. This does come with a high tone as default. Personally, I think I'm going to try the low tone. The other thing I want to show you is the key fob, how to program a key fob. And this is very, very easy. Again, these key fobs, they come pre-programmed with the lock when you receive the lock. But again, if you ever had to reset your lock for whatever reason, something happened, you messed up while you're trying to program your code, you may have to reset the lock. Whenever you do something like that, you're going to also have to repair your key fob. What we are going to do now is, let me see if I can show you this. There's a, if you see right here, there is a fob learn indented button in here. What we're going to do is, I have a paper clip. This is very, very simple. I am going to use the two white ones up here for this lock. I will use the orange ones for my other lock. All you have to do, while you are holding down the fob learn button, just hit the lock button on your key fob, and we'll do that now. And I'm going to hold the lock button. You heard that confirmation message, so now we can unlock and lock. Simple as that. Again, we went over how to program it, how to do a quick shortcut way to lock your RV, and also how to change the volume and how to pair up a key fob. Hopefully you learned something from this, and I'm really excited to start using these. After we use these locks for a few months, we will post some updates to this video to let you know if we found anything that we don't like or found things that we really do like about the lock. These are things that I can't answer now putting the lock on the door. I do want some time to spend with the lock, so you will get our honest opinion. Remember, always live life to the fullest.